Well, as you might know, I love indigenous ethnographic masks, and we're going to look at two really cool examples from Africa here. The first one is from the Cameroon grasslands. Cameroon is in West Africa, about halfway up, and touches the Atlantic Ocean. This was made by the Bwanga people, Bwanga, sorry for the pronunciation, and it's a Janus Night Society mask, and of course Janus was the two-faced Roman god. Equally obvious is that this is not a depiction of Janus, right? Just got that name from collectors and researchers. These would be used in different kinds of rituals, of course, presumably at night, hence Night Society, as you know the Europeans named it once they encountered it. And everything about this is amazing. One thing, notice the weathered surface. That turns out to be kind of purposeful as well, because I heard that the Bwanga believe the soot and the libations that they pour on these kind of add to the effect. And you can certainly see that there, especially on the nose, but really the whole thing just looks amazing. Now, probably the coolest part of the entire thing is coming, which is the mouth on this side. So really fearsome looking. And you see this kind of thing with a lot of tribal masks, not meaning the teeth, just the fact that they're very striking. Well, you know, you don't make a mask that's not going to stand out, right? And as you can see, we've now moved on to the sides. You can now see the two faces at once. Boy, this thing must not have been fun to wear. It's really big. I can think of some analogous Central South American masks that do the same thing, the two faces on different sides, but they look nothing like this one. So here's the other side, and I usually use only my own pictures, but I couldn't get around to this side, so bad on the person who designed the display. You need to be able to walk around this thing and see both sides for sure. And you can see the contrast in the face, right? So this one here looks a lot more gentle than the one on the other side. Now going further west in Africa and north, up to Mali, which is a larger country, and it's in kind of that western bulge up in the northern part of the northwestern part of the country, we have a Marca people mask. As you can see, it is just as awesome, but in an entirely different way, right? Much more angular, slender, and that's characteristics of the masks, at least one form of the masks from that area. Love the eyes on this, just haunting, the opposite of the last mask where it's, you know, there's just nothing where the eyes go, and that's just kind of equally transfixing. Now, different view here, and you can see that the nose has suffered a little bit, and that's really common in African tribal masks. They were exposed to the elements. They're very weathered and worn. And this is also a result of the materials that were used, so a lot of wood, that kind of thing, just materials that don't last well, and you can see that there, but they also give it a really cool look over time. In fact, this right here is my favorite picture in this entire video. You see the metal there on the left, that was a hallmark of Marca masks. They would use like flattened metal, especially around the forehead, and with horns, which we're looking at right here. And that was said to denote, supernatural properties, so you're kind of imitating or maybe invoking a supernatural creature. Spirit is probably a better word, come to think of it. Either way, it's fascinating, so was the last one. I like the contrast between the two, and I didn't have a lot of images for either one of them, so that's why I put them together. Thanks.